Prime Minister reveals that a coronavirus quarantine will be set up in a Durrës Cavalry, the Interior Ministry's rest house with additional facilities at Shefqet Roshi Hospital. Alliance for the Protection of Theatre has sued the Deputy Mayor of Tirana, Arbian Mazniku, for passive corruption for the new National Theatre project scandal. The U.S. is increasing pressure on Kosovo to lift tariffs on Serbian imports in attempts to normalize relations. It's 6 o'clock on Thursday, the 27th of February, 2020. Good evening and thank you for tuning in to the English edition of Ora News. My name is Christopher, bringing you the only update of the local Albanian news translated into English. Prime Minister Edi Rama has lifted everyone's curiosity by suggesting that the quarantine for potential coronavirus sufferers will be set up in Durrës Cavalry, the Interior Ministry's rest house. Speaking at a meeting of the National Security Committee, Rama said that the Shefqet Roshi Hospital also has additional capacities. The technical community has evaluated some premises as suitable for the quarantine. It is unfortunate that nowhere, as in a small country, politicians do what they have been doing these days, trying to spread panic and mock the public. Quarantines are not built in mountains, forests, or in residential areas. If the first case of the quarantine placement, we have determined the placement of the military house in Durrës area. The World Health Organization is the organization that determines the fulfillment of all conditions. There are additional facilities at Shefqet Roshi Hospital. The Ministry of Health has issued an order for additional measures in schools. Citizens are recommended to restrict unnecessary travel to the affected areas, said Edi Rama. He also did not comment on the fake news about the coronavirus. We immediately began reaching out to the necessary contacts because of the intense interaction. Even in neighboring Italy, efforts to find patient zero continue, but to no avail. The other unknown is the prevalence. It's spread fast. Today, how the countries bordering China have not yet been touched is discussed. A specific vaccine has not been yet reached, and it is thought that this will take some time. It is a situation that has taken the whole world by surprise. The spread of the virus is inevitable. Infodema has affected the world according to the World Health Organization, and it inevitably has affected Albania as well. In our country, the situation has appeared from more than one form. The headlines carry coronavirus and in the title, but also the individual effort to certain groups to stimulate panic and produce alarms. The Alliance for the Protection of the Theatre has sued the Deputy of Mayor Tirana, Arbian Mazniku. AMT says Mazniku abused the office after agreeing to pay the hotel bill from Fusha SHPK while the company was in conflict with the municipality. The deputy mayor is accused of passive corruption for accepting payment of €900 a night for the stay in a hotel in Barcelona by the company Fusha SHPK. According to the alliance, the move was made at the time the entity was negotiating for the new National Theatre project. The court set another date for the case to be considered. For the alliance, both the company Fusha and Mazniku are under indictment. We have received information about the prosecutor of the case did not accept the case's dismissal. We have filed a criminal report based on law and evidence. The criminals themselves have proverbially admitted that the extreme bill of €900 a night was paid by the administrator of Fusha SHPK, which was in conflict of interest with the municipality of Tirana. It turns out that Fusha SHPK, since making such corrupted payments, received 50% of the tenders awarded by this municipality. We asked the KLP to investigate this file, and we find it very absurd for the Tirana Prosecutor General to make a decision. The prosecutor of the case does not accept the dismissal, while the head of the prosecution decides for the request for the dismissal of the trial. In reality, no investigation was done. We will make material submissions, and you cannot say to the state institution that we did not have time to make the payment. The official was prohibited by law from making the payment. We will require file recovery and investigation. We have reported this to Deputy Mayor Arbian Mazniku because it is in the conflict of interest. High-level corruption was committed by accepting the payment of such a bogus fee. We have reasonable suspicion that he has committed a criminal act of abuse of office. On the other hand, we have also denounced the administrator of Fusha SHPK because there are reasonable doubts that he committed corruption. We are very confident in the justice system, and we suspect that this act has happened dozens of times in the municipality of Tirana. We were very impressed that that was not the head of the Tirana prosecutor's office who illegally signed the dismissal of the case, besides the fact that it was not the prosecutor who refused to dismiss the case in the first place. As for the latest City Hall decision stating that the National Theatre will be built by the state, the alliance issued another warning. We will be there until the theater makes a decision on restoration. I invite you to expedite our criminal report against the mayor. We have taken Veliai to the SPAC structures. The first is about non-information, and the second is about the term negotiations. Mr. Velia will be familiar with the steps that SPAC is taking on this corrupt act. I am very sure that these SPAC actions have influenced the attraction of the municipality, said Adriana Calaya. For more than 2 years, artists have been protesting against the collapse of the National Theater. The next hearing took place on Thursday for former Democratic Party lawmaker Clevis Baliu and several Ring residents who have been indicted for protest at the new Ring Road. After the hearing, the former Democratic lawmaker accused the justice system of amnestying government affairs. What is being asked today in Albania is, how is it possible that any litigation, whether for the Arion Viliaj Pinewood scandal or the Ring affair, for those police officers who were caught beating and striking a lady of 20 years old, to the issues ceases? For any affair of government, the matter is dismissed, said Clevis Baliu. Meanwhile, Baliu said that the residents of the new Ring Road have been in court doors for a year, only attempts to protect their homes. For the residents of the Ring, they have been in court for a year because they are protecting their home from a project listed in Albania and the U.S. as one of the most corrupt projects ever. Kosovo will coordinate with the United States every step of its way to a permanent peace deal with Serbia. The starting point will be the abolition of customs duties on Serbian goods. Vučić says it is a matter of time for Serbia to recognize Kosovo's independence. The United States expects Kosovo to lift tariffs on Serbian goods and take advantage of the inertia created after signing of the bilateral economic pacts. At the conclusion of a meeting in Washington with Kosovo President Hashim Thaçi, U.S. Chief Diplomat Mike Pompeo underlined that the U.S. supports a sovereign and independent Kosovo. We expect Kosovo to lift tariffs on Serbian imports to maximize the economic and trade benefits between the two countries as an essential step towards resuming negotiations on comprehensive normalization of relations. Secretary of State Pompeo said in a press release, the United States is committed to a final agreement between the two Balkan neighbors. This process has been echoed in recent weeks by the head of the Serbian state, Aleksandar Vučić, who reiterated in a televised interview Wednesday that it is a matter of time for Serbia to be asked to de facto and de jure accept Kosovo. Their intention is to bring Kosovo to the United Nations, and that is the essence. Everywhere I go, I fight for the betterment of Serbia's position, but don't expect to lie and say that those I have met change their attitude. We are too small to change the mind of Germany, America, France, and England, Vučić says. The Serbian president warned that the pressure for recognizing Kosovo would increase if Kosovo waived the maximum customs tariff. After Thaçi, Vučić is also expected to visit Washington next week, where he will meet with Secretary Pompeo, Vice President Mike Pence, and Special Envoy for Kosovo-Serbia Dialogue, Richard Grinnell. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening. And be sure to join us again every Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. On behalf of Ora News, thank you and good night.